Welcome back to the Miracle Moment podcast with Dr. Orbeck. My name is JJ. I'm your host. And last time, you may recall, we learned a bit about Dr. Orbeck's story, how he got to where he is today. And we ended around the time where we were talking about his mobile medical service, which is fascinating. And I'm curious, Dr. Orbeck, can we just pick up from there and learn a bit more about where that took you?
Absolutely. It was a great part of my journey. It's a part of my life that I'll never forget. We touched so many lives, and on a one-on-one, our patients almost became our family. And we had I had a beautiful time getting to know, them, their family, their environment. It was the ultimate in family practice care, right? So I loved it. But as time went on, I yearned for more, and I wanted to get deeper. You learn about, the metabolism, and you learn about issues of immunity, and you learn about cell signaling, right? And so with the way traditional medicine, and traditional medicine, don't get me wrong, I applaud it. I was part of it. And I really, we need it. I always say to my patients, if you want to be really sick, you want to be in the United States, because we have some great practitioners and awesome medicine that we can give our patients here in the United States. Going beyond that, though, into prevention and health, when you define health, I look more to the European sector of defining health and prevention. So I wish we had a little bit more emphasis on prevention and overall health, which is where it drove me after I went through mobile medical care. I wanted to get really deep into health and understand, preemptively striking before disease occurs. That was my goal. And so I did a lot of research, and the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine popped up, which I didn't know anything about the A4M. And I enrolled in one of the modules. It was amazing, life-changing. I sat in that module and I was learning different protocols, and I was learning metabolic truths that I was not taught in med school.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It was I'm like, why weren't we taught this? It just wasn't standard curriculum. I was blown away. In fact, I went to the A4M secretary at the desk. I said, this is crazy. I'm blown away. She goes, everybody that first comes here says that. It's crazy. To learn about the absolute truths of metabolism and cell signaling and hormones and all that. It's amazing. It's something that we often neglect, I think. And so at that point, that's why I wanted to shift my career and work more preemptively. And so in my practice, I focus on health and wellness, empowering you to be your best, allowing you to live the best life you can with energy, vitality, clear thinking, good sleeping. That's critical to how you feel. And how you feel is how you express yourself. It's very, very vital in what you can do in life. Because if there's one thing that's going to impede your ability to make a difference in life, it's going to be a disease process. Because people that don't feel good, they don't care. They just want to feel better.
And they often wait. Well, I can talk about myself too, but often wait until it's not necessarily too late, but the pain is so bad that they say, oh, it'll go away. It'll pass. Mm-hmm. But with what I'm hearing you say is we can get ahead of it.
Absolutely. We can. We can look at genetic signals, and we can look at markers, inflammatory markers, immune markers. There's a lot of health markers we can look at. And then we can take that and tweak the person's lifestyle. We can tweak their nutrition, get them back into fitness, helping them have more energy, and then reducing inflammatory markers within the body is critical. Our society today and the world we live is full of attacks against our body. And the new one is obviously EMF, electromagnetic force, because everything is wireless, right? So that's just one of many, many markers.
And it's invisible.
Yeah. And look at the food industry. We have to pump out food because we got so many people. How do we do that? Well, you have to grow crops very quickly. And you have to grow animals very, very quickly. And that takes different types of signals and hormones and genetic engineering to do that. And that may not be the best food for the body. Your metabolism may not know what to do with that, right? Have you ever been to Italy or Europe, JJ?
I have.
Or say, when you went to Italy, did you eat bread? Because I did.
Oh, I ate a lot of it.
Did you eat pasta?
I think almost every meal, if I could.
Were you bloated?
No.
Why?
It's the ingredients.
Exactly.
100% the
Right.
ingredients.
So, I mean, we have to talk about this because, it's like, what do you put in your body? What fuel? You're a high-end sports car, man. You're a Porsche. You better put in some 94
talking my language.
octane.
He is talking my language. GT3 if I had to choose, but okay.
You got to put in the right fuel, baby. You got to, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, we went off track a little bit, but that's what I was desiring. I was desiring to learn more in the field of regenerative medicine and metabolic medicine. So I joined the A4M and I enrolled in a fellowship. I did a complete fellowship. It took me about 3-4 years to get through it.
In addition to all of the other education you've had.
Well, yeah, but this was an education I didn't have.
Yeah, right. You saw this desire, you had this desire, I should say, and you saw this need to gain this additional insight, again, to complete your holistic vision.
And the more I learned, JJ, the more I wanted to learn. Because as we dove into that, I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's scary, right? So the journey that I found it's amazing. It's like unconscious incompetence. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know. Then I start learning this, and all of a sudden you get into conscious incompetence. Now you know you're messing up, right? And as you practice more and more, you get into conscious competence. Now you got to think about it, read about it, and do it. And then eventually it takes about 3 to 5 years. It becomes unconscious competence.
It's natural.
And now it's a way of practicing the way, which you go through that, you go through those segments and everything you learn. So, I'm always trying to figure out what I don't know, because I don't like to not know what I don't know.
So you took this journey, you got the education, you did all the things, and then RMI. How was this born?
So that's a great question. Through this education, I needed some hand holding, right? I was a baby in regenerative medicine. I was like, in functional medicine. Integrative and functional medicine is a great thing. And so, I had the opportunity to join a franchise company that had, I think, 45, probably the best doctors I've ever met. Well-trained, excellent people, great personalities, love people. I got to walk with them for 10, 12 years. So we had a network, a nest, and a net, so I don't have to fall. And if I did, they'd catch me. And so through that process, which took almost 10, 12 years, I developed protocols and understood integrative and functional medicine much more. My ultimate desire is and has always been to have one of the most unique upstate practices to allow the person to achieve what they want to achieve for their health and wellness. That was my goal. And I wanted to develop an institution that was encompassing in that, in all aspects of that. Regenerative Medical Institute was born and developed to help a person achieve those goals. It is external beauty through internal wellness. Make a person well inside, deal with all those issues we talked about previously, body, mind, spirit, all that, nutrition, fitness, all of it, right? Energy. Once that happens, the beauty starts to evolve out of the body. And so then I added in, they feel great. They want to look even better. So I added in an aesthetic program. And we do all kinds of different types of aesthetics and natural aesthetics and different types of things that we can help express the beauty of that person. We have a lot of different protocols that involve detoxification, and getting the bad out. Because when I look at a person, my goal initially when I see that person in my office is to identify what's not good. Let's get it out. And then identify what is good that's not there and put it in. And then it's hands off. I mean, I didn't create the body, right? So I give the body what it needs. Guess what? What's amazing? The body can heal itself. You ever think about that? Like, you don't wear a Band-Aid the rest of your life. Once you cut a finger, it heals, right? The body has the ability to heal. It's my job to identify what's impeding that healing process. Get the stuff out that's blocking it and impeding it from healing, and then put the stuff in that'll help it heal. That's all about functional integrative medicine. That's where we work. Okay? So rather than, and medication and drugs are very important. Pharmacology is very important, don't get me wrong. But there's another aspect of this. What if you put in like different aspects of growth factors or cell signaling or nutrition that give the body what it needs? You think the body might actually heal? Well, yeah. I see it all the time. I see it in my practice day in and day out. And that's where my reward comes from. Watching people evolve into health is a beautiful thing. I love it.
Well, and the education that comes along with it, you're helping individuals understand. Let's go back to what we said in the first episode, hope. The hope is there, and it can be there once they come to you and you're able to do that analysis and do that identification. And I remember our conversation when we reviewed my results, and I was like, wait, what's that word? And wait, what is that thing? You're like, we need to get rid of this. We need to do this. We're going to add this on in. It's exactly what you did. And I'm experiencing that right now. And it's a process, right? It's an evolution, but it feels really exciting also to know more about myself through your ability to help me do that.
That's great that you just said that, because that makes me feel good. That means I'm doing my job, but you have to do your job, because I don't pilot these airplanes. And when my patient sits in front of me, I basically say, look, I'm the radio control tower. I'm FTC up there, and I'm going to tell you, you're the pilot. You're in that airplane. You're piloting your health. Turn left heading 230 and descend and maintain 4,000 feet. You go, nah, I don't want to do that. Oops, there's a mountain there, and you just hit it. So you can see and you can move in that direction, but you have to turn the yoke and you have to pull back the power and you have to do what it takes to do. I can't live with you. So,
it's a collaboration.
It's a collaboration.
It really is a partnership.
It's a partnership, mm-hmm. Right? And what I have also found is that when you simply tell someone, take these 3 times a day, call me in 2 weeks, we'll see how you're doing. Really? Why? That doesn't matter. Just do it. It doesn't work. People are intelligent. They deserve to know how and why. So if they understand the metabolic derangements and what we're using to correct those derangements and how they work and play in that aspect, they're going to do it because now they know why. And then it evolves from there, and you take it to the next step and the next step and the next step. It's like peeling an onion. Peeling the most obvious, metabolic derangements, we'll peel those off first, and then we'll go deeper, and get down into the absolute, culmination of pure health. That's the goal.
Okay, in considering that, talk to us a bit about what that looks like, that first initial consultation coming in to see Dr. Orbeck. What does that look like? What is your patient experience?
It can be overwhelming. I try not to make it that way. I have a lot of results in front of me. I do a lot of blood work, and I do urinalysis testing. We're looking at inflammatory markers. We're looking at all the hormones in the body, including all the metabolites of these hormones. So it's a lot of information. And it can easily get out of control. What I like to do is I like to just simply go brush over everything and give a picture of this is where you are. This is what has to be changed to get you to where you want to be. And we're gonna slowly do that. Like I'm gonna add some of this in right now. We're gonna do this right now. We're gonna do a couple lifestyle changes. We're not gonna change the whole world here, turn you upside down. Let's just take it one step at a time, right? Have you ever done any hiking, mountain climbing, any of that? Okay, so you and I are gonna climb Mount Everest, okay? And we gotta spend at least a couple days at base camp to get acclimated to the altitude, right? And then we're going to go up to the second camp, and then the third camp, and whatever, the fourth camp. I don't know how many camps there are, but there's a lot, right? And then you have to wait until you get this beautiful sunny day where you can summit and actually get to the peak. That's a process. So what I actually intend to do with my patients is to walk that journey, because we're climbing a mountain. You know, some of the patients I see have some pretty severe metabolic derangements and issues medically. And so to climb that mountain, it takes time and energy, and we just have to walk together up that and take our time and understand. Eventually we'll get to summit, which is, you know, absolute health. Be great, right? Perfect health.
How do you help someone who's coming to you for the first time and they understand you've shared some of the results, what we're going to do, but perhaps their lifestyle just hasn't been what it probably needs to be? How do you help support them?
Happens all the time. And lifestyle is critical. It's not something that you can radically change. So you have to pick the most obvious deficiency in their lifestyle and maybe just work on that. For example, let's say that a person comes into my office and has no clue about their nutrition and diet. And let's say that their lifestyle is radically on the run. So they're getting up at 5 o'clock, they're going to bed at midnight, they're not getting good sleep, and they're running around at fast food restaurants. What do you think that's doing to their metabolism?
Shredding it.
Yeah, big time. How do we start with that? Well, maybe we can suggest that they have maybe one meal at home a day with some better nutrition. And maybe we can cut out, you know, like the Diet Coke and the McDonald's hamburgers or whatever, and add more nutrition. Maybe we can start there. And then next time I can talk to them about sleep and the importance of the body rejuvenating while you're down in a deep sleep. Because if you don't do that, you don't recover. And that's where EMF comes in, because we're so surrounded with all kinds of different types of magnetic force. We get into talking about things like grounding yourself, actually taking your shoes off and standing in the dirt. What? We do that today in society? Why do you think people feel so good when they go to the beach?
They're connected to the earth.
Yeah, and they're swimming in the ocean and they're pulling out their EMF. You know, we can do that at home. You know, there are things we can do. There are grounding blankets. There are different things that we can use to actually help us to achieve the same goal. So that's how I start.
Amazing. Well, we are so grateful to learn a bit more about your story, but also about RMI. And thank you for tuning in to The Miracle Moment with Dr. Orbeck. We look forward to seeing you next time when we learn what happens next in the office at RMI.